Now, let's get back to the video. The X-Men are coming to the MCU, and there's no better character to lead them than everyone's favorite Canadian, Wolverine, but what role will Hugh Hefner be playing? Is he going to be a mentor like Professor X? Will he be more of a rogues gallery member? And how does he feel about the 97-year-old Patrick Stewart returning to play Professor X? Well, that's what we're here to explore today. So let's get into it. So when it comes to the X-Men, there are really three characters that immediately come to mind when you think of them: Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. There is no doubt that they are arguably the most popular and well-known mutants in the world, so it's easy to see why they would be the first to appear in the MCU. However, while we know that Hugh Hefner has officially been cast as Wolverine, we still don't know which other mutants will be joining him just yet. But based on recent rumors, it seems likely that we could see Cyclops and Jean Grey show up in one of the upcoming MCU movies, with many fans hoping that they will appear in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But while Wolverine is arguably the most recognizable member of the X-Men, what role will he be playing in this new series? One theory is that he will take on a mentoring role similar to Professor X in the comics. This would make sense considering that Wolverine is one of the most experienced mutants out there, and he has a lot of knowledge when it comes to fighting against villains and protecting those who are weaker than him. Plus, I think Hugh Hefner is perfect for this kind of role. He's got that gruff exterior, but underneath he's got a heart of gold. I mean, we saw this in Logan when he took in a young Laura and trained her to become the next Wolverine, and we also saw it in the 2009 X-Men Origins. First Class, when he helped out young mutants who were being hunted down by William Stryker. I think he's the perfect person to lead the next generation of mutants in the MCU. Another theory is that Wolverine will be more of a rogues gallery member, someone who operates outside the law and doesn't always play by the rules. This could make for an interesting dynamic with the rest of the X-Men, especially if they're operating in secrecy and trying to avoid detection from the government or other villains. This would also allow for a lot of cool fight scenes where Wolverine can go up against people who are way stronger than him. I mean, we know from the comics that he's not afraid to go up against people who are way stronger than him. So I think he'd be perfect for this kind of role in the MCU as well. But there are a few things to consider when thinking about Wolverine's role in the MCU. For one, we need to remember that Wolverine is not the only Wolverine out there. In the comics, we've seen multiple characters take on the mantle of Wolverine, including Laura Kinney, aka X-23, and James Howlett, aka Logan. It's possible that we could see one of these characters show up in the MCU as well, maybe even in a mentoring role for Hugh Hefner's Wolverine. It would be cool to see a younger version of Wolverine show up and cause some chaos. I mean, we've already seen Laura in action in the Logan movie, and she was absolutely awesome. So I think she'd be a great addition to the MCU. Another thing to consider is that we need to remember that Wolverine has a long history with the Avengers as well. He's been a member of the team on and off again since the 80s and has fought alongside some of the most powerful heroes in the world. This could be an interesting plot point in the MCU since we know that the Avengers and the X-Men have a bit of a complicated history in the comics. Maybe Wolverine could act as a bridge between the two teams and help them to work together to defeat a common enemy. I mean, we've already seen some of the Avengers interact with mutants in the MCU, specifically Wanda and Vision in WandaVision, so it's only a matter of time before we see them team up. Plus, we can't forget that Wolverine has a long history with the Fantastic Four as well. He actually used to be a member of the team before he joined the X-Men and has a close relationship with Reed Richards. This could be another interesting plot point in the MCU since we know that the Fantastic Four are set to appear in the MCU soon. Maybe Wolverine could help the FF take on a threat that's too powerful for them to handle on their own, setting up a great team-up movie. But let's talk about what Hugh Hefner has said about playing Wolverine in the MCU. In a recent interview with Men's Health, Hefner opened up about his excitement for the role and said, "I've always wanted to do a musical. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm really excited to join the MCU. It's a fantastic opportunity. I love the character. He's Canadian, he's a bit grumpy, and he's not quite sure he wants to be a hero, but he usually ends up being one anyway." When asked about the possibility of working with Patrick Stewart again, Hefner said, It would be wonderful to work with Patrick again. He's a great actor and a friend. We had a great time working together on X-Men 2, so it would be fun to pick up where we left off and see what's happened in the meantime. Personally, I think it would be awesome to see Wolverine and Professor X team up in the MCU. They've had a long history together in the comics, both as friends and as enemies, and I think it would be really interesting to see that dynamic play out on screen. Plus, it would be cool to see Patrick Stewart return to the X-Men franchise. He's obviously a fan favorite, and his portrayal of Professor X is iconic, so I think he would be a great addition to the MCU. And speaking of Patrick Stewart, let's talk about his recent comments about returning to the X-Men franchise. In a recent interview with Variety, Stewart opened up about the possibility of reprising his role as Professor X in the MCU and said, "I'm not aware of any plans. You'll have to talk to the people at Marvel. I'm very busy right now. I'm about to embark on a tour with my one-man show, which I've never done before. It's called I Still See and Believe It, and it's all about my life in show business so far. But I'm very busy. I'm not planning to be less busy. I love my work. And also, I've got a couple of movies coming out that I'm very proud of." However, when asked directly about the possibility of returning to the X-Men, Stewart said, "Well, I'm 97 years old. If I don't do it now, I never will." So it seems like Stewart is open to the idea of returning to the X-Men franchise. But it ultimately depends on Marvel. Overall, I think it's pretty clear that Wolverine will be a major player in the upcoming X-Men cinematic universe. He's one of the most popular and recognizable mutants out there, and Hugh Hefner is perfect for the role. I can't wait to see what kind of impact Wolverine has on the MCU and how he interacts with other heroes like the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. But what do you think? What role should Wolverine play in the upcoming X-Men cinematic universe? And do you think Patrick Stewart should return to play Professor X? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Until next time, peace out, nerds. Thanks for watching.